In this day and age, people have become more and more aware of the inequality that persists in the world. Inequality against women, inequality against people of color, these issues have all been identified and addressed by most of the world. However, gender inequality is not as simple as males being more entitled than females. Gender isn't limited to two values. It's a spectrum, where people can choose what they want to identify as. Unfortunately, many people like to judge, ridicule, and harass people who choose not to conform to the belief that there are only two genders. For this project, we aim to raise awareness about the oppression and inequality faced by non-binary people in the LGBTQ community, as well as educate others on how to be respectful towards non-binary people in the community.
To start off our investigation about non-binary gender inequality in our modern society, we interviewed several Hong Kong residents that do not necessarily conform to the male or female gender to receive their perspective and to hopefully gain some insights on what they are facing. These are some of the questions we asked them. In your own words, can you briefly explain what being non-binary is?
Being non-binary means you neither identify as male nor female, you are simply another gender. Of course, there are many other genders. There are different gender identities such as genderqueer and gender fluid as well.
How do you discover your gender identity?
I discovered I was non-binary from a young age, as I did not feel comfortable being fully a girl. I discovered the term non-binary a year ago, and decided I am gender fluid, as sometimes I feel more masculine and sometimes more feminine.
After I started questioning it, I thought about what would feel more right.
Have you faced any challenges after discovering your gender identity?
Yes, definitely. Many people use she/her pronouns when talking to me, just because I look feminine, which makes me uncomfortable. People have expectations and stereotypes on how LGBTQ+ people should look or dress.
I felt like I would get judged like I didn't really belong in the community.
What do you hope other people can understand about your gender identity?
I wish people would accept and understand that non-binary genders do exist, and they identify as neither male nor female, so they should stop forcing them to conform to society's standards.
It's just who I am and what I want to be.
After learning more about what it means to be non-binary and the inequalities they face every day, we decided to do research and collect data on Hong Kongers' viewpoints towards the LGBTQ+ community. According to a telephone survey conducted in 2005 by the Hong Kong government, 39% of the interviewees says they contradict the morals of the community. One factor we believe that causes oppression against LGBTQ+ genders is religion. To Christians, the Bible is God's very written word. It is widely understood that it is God's words on how people should live. In the Bible, chapter 18 verse 22, it states that, "You shall not lie with a man as a woman. It is abomination." And chapter 20 verse 13, "If a man lies with a male as a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them." These two verses have historically been interpreted by Jews and Christians as clear overall prohibitions against homosexual acts in general. Therefore, we decided to investigate further and interview Christians about their opinions on the LGBTQ+ community and non-binary genders. Here are the questions we asked.
What are your opinions on LGBTQ+ people?
I don't support them, but I accept LGBTQ+ people and respect their decision. I think they should not be judged as it is their own choice.
Does your religion generally accept LGBTQ+ people?
My church is strongly against it, and it is also mentioned in the Bible that homosexual acts is a sin. No, my church is strongly against it. My pastor meets up to me and talks about it.
Do you support LGBTQ+ people?
I personally don't support them, but I accept them. Yes, I am a part of the community.
How has your religion affected your viewpoints towards LGBTQ+ people?
I was taught not to support LGBTQ+ people, but I personally believe that God loves everyone equally, including LGBTQ+ people and non-binary genders.
Aside from conducting interviews, we also looked into different countries and cultures to study inequality present in these places. Firstly, in China, they have recently introduced new policies against men looking feminine. LGBTQ+ people in China are under pressure as new economic, social, and education regulations are introduced and changed. During the Communist Cultural Revolution in China from 1966 to 1976, homosexuals were regarded as disgraceful and undesirable, and the Chinese Society of Patriarchy even declassified homosexuality as a mental disorder in 2001. Countries such as Russia and Egypt are also strongly against the LGBTQ+ community. LGBTQ+ people face much scrutiny and hardships on a regular basis, such as being scapegoated by religious leaders and being restricted to certain kinds of work, often in the informal sector with little security and no benefits. In the light of the pandemic, they were even blamed for starting the virus, and there are gender-based quarantines where neither of their identity documents nor their express identities were protected from abuse. They were forced to rely on courier services for supplies.
However, we should also appreciate cultures and regions that warmly accept transgender and non-binary individuals, and do not consider male and female to be the only two genders. In Samoa, there are people called the Fa'afafine, who identify themselves as having a third gender or non-binary role. They are a recognized gender identity in traditional Samoan society, and an integral part of Samoan culture, and they are free to show both masculine and feminine gender traits in a way unique to Polynesia. In Islamic culture, there is a saying for non-binary individuals, mukanafan, which means effeminate ones. They are allowed to have ambiguous sex characteristics, are not abnormal at all, and are tolerated within the boundaries of the Islam belief.
This concludes our video essay. Hopefully, the cultural perspectives we have shown here will give everyone a better understanding for those who do not conform to gender norms. If you would like, please comment your opinion on the subject matter or our video as feedback. Thank you for watching to the end.